You're listening to the ReBet Van Chronicles Podcast. Download ReBet in the App Store today.
Welcome back to Van Chronicles. We're moving into part 2 here. I guess we can name this, California? The California trip. Because that was a hell of a trip. But yeah, my name's Josh, host of Van Chronicles, and Ben, who's the other host of Van Chronicles. So we're going to move along, passing through Arizona into the Tijuana area, right into California, right there on the border. We were going to try to sleep in Tijuana. And not Tijuana. We weren't going over to Mexico. It wasn't even San Diego. It was right across the border. Chris was super tired. I was super tired. We've been traveling all day. So we were ready to get some good night's sleep. And we decided to stop right across the border right there. And I pull into a truck stop. And into that truck stop area, we're maybe 0.2 of a mile away from the state federal prison.
Yep.
It didn't really seem like the best place in the world to sleep. I didn't want to wake up with some dude in an orange jumpsuit banging on our van, trying to jump in and take off with us to our next stop. So we kept moving through the night, and I think we ended up driving till about 1 a.m. into Cali because it was so hard to find a rest area to sleep at right there, which was kind of strange to me, but we finally made it work. But what was really crazy to me, which I've never seen before, I guess being from Arkansas, I know you probably dealt with it living in Arizona, is there were signs everywhere about dust storm warnings, which I've never seen before. And I know I got really scared once. It's about 1:30 in the morning. I just see a cloud of dust fly up at my window, and the wind got really bad. I just hit wind for a minute. It scared the crap out of me, though. But we made it work. Eventually, we stopped somewhere. We slept in a gas station parking lot, I think. So, I guess that was fun.
Talk about gas stations, man. We had to stop at a lot of gas stations around this country.
And you're going to talk about how much gas costs up there in Cali? We were spending $100+ a tank moving through California. But
compared to here, it's half the cost.
Yeah. And it's crazy how distant some of the gas stations are in some of these areas, especially when we get up into Oregon and Upper California, which we'll go through. But yeah, and it was, no gas stations for over 100 miles, right? Especially in Wyoming and some places. And so we have to fill that thing up. It feels like every 3 or 4 hours. It guzzles gas. It's a good band, but that thing guzzles some gas. But we continued moving on up. We got into the LA area, which that was really cool. The Dodgers were playing in the World Series while we were there. And so Chris and I, we were on a big time crunch. We went to the University of Southern Cal, so USC. Once again, security didn't like us being there. We got kicked off again. So we were in the middle of campus, and they basically told us, hey, you can't be here. But hey, at least our man Chris, he got us good parking by saying we had a parking permit when we didn't. So hey, you got to do what you got to do.
And do what you got to do.
We got in, good parking. Dan was right on the street, so good marketing for us there. But we moved off onto basically the sidewalk, and there was foot traffic, but not a lot of people wanted to come over to where we were. But it was really cool at the end. We had this lady come up to us, and our videos are on the ReBet Van Instagram. Of this lady came up, she was rapping, showing us her music, dancing. She was getting a little crazy with it, which I guess that's how USC is. It's a big party school, I think. So yeah, it was neat to see. And from there, we moved over into LA, trying to drive into LA, which I've never been to LA before. And it was insane.
It's a place. It's really a place.
Yeah, it was insane. So we got an Uber from outside of LA a little bit, moved into LA, and we went to some big bar to watch the Dodgers game, which one of the cooler experiences I've been a part of. Getting to see all the fans watching a World Series game. Yeah. News stations, they had cameras everywhere there. So it was really cool to see. We went to LA, and then later that night, Chris had to fly back home. So dropped him off at LAX. And then I started tanking.
Now you're on your own.
North California, which I've never been up that way before. And when I tell you I was in the mountains for maybe a day straight, man, it was insane. So there was a winter storm warning in the Cascade Mountains once you hit Oregon, I think part of Northern California. And so I was up in the mountains going 30, 35 miles per hour. There was some snow in those mountains I was going through too, on top of the mountains. And
service is barely working, I'm sure.
That's what I couldn't work. I couldn't do anything but drive pretty much. I know there was one day, so usually when I drive, and even when Ben's driving or we're together, we'll sit there and we'll turn on a college football game and listen to it or watch it, or college basketball. whatever it is. I know there was a college football little action I was wanting to watch, I think on a Wednesday. And I literally couldn't watch any of the game because of service up there. It would work for about a play, and then it would shut off on me, so I didn't get to watch the game. But we tanked the drive through Northern California, all mountains. I remember I stopped. I don't think I told anyone about this. I stopped at some gas station right off the mountain, middle of nowhere, not a very big town, pumping my gas or whatever, and some lady comes up to me trying to get me to give her a ride, like 2 hours back south. And I was like, it's not happening, man. Like, I'm not taking you back that way. I wouldn't pick up a random stranger anyway.
At a mountain gas station like that? Dang. That's tough luck.
But everyone that was like going through the gas station, she was asking for a ride back, and I think her car broke down, so I felt bad. But I'm not going 2 hours back to the mountain the way I don't need to go to give her a ride back. But yeah, so we tanked it out. California, I guess I'll talk about Oregon. It kind of is the same thing. I entered in a tsunami warning zone, which, thinking about it now, they had a tsunami warning. And that's exactly where I was. Yeah. And I know I sent pictures to my wife, and I was like, this is kind of sketch. I'm like, I know there hasn't been a tsunami hit in like Oregon or Northern California for who knows how long, but I made sure I didn't stay the night in a tsunami warning zone. Just, I don't know why. It kind of sketched me.
I see all those signs, and you got the blue with the waves coming over, and it gets higher ground.
Exactly what it was. And so I continued to drive through there, and then it got to a point where I needed to go to sleep, but it's so hard to find a place up in those mountains to sleep because I don't want to pull off on the side of the mountain or the road right there. So finally I get into North Bend, Oregon, not Bend, North Bend, which is right along the coast. Which, once again, I had to stay on the coast. I couldn't really go through the Cascades because of the snow. And I stopped at a casino to stay the night because I feel like an open parking lot would be the best spot. It's raining. It's pouring outside. Some lady comes up to me in the van. Hey, you want to go to the casino? I was like, I'm okay not playing any blackjack tonight. And she's like, well, you can't stay here. I was like, are you serious? Why can't I sleep here? It's a huge park. There's 18-wheelers in there. She's like, no, only if you're playing at the casino.
Oh, my God.
I was like, okay.
She worked there?
Well, yeah, she worked there.
Oh, wow.
She basically just shuttled people to the casino. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I should have just gone and played blackjack and fell asleep at the blackjack table or something. So I moved to a Walmart parking lot that was maybe 15 minutes away and went to sleep there. But when I tell you I got like no sleep, it was pouring and it was so windy that the van was like moving back and forth.
That thing sways.
Yeah, so it was swaying. So a hard night of sleep there. I woke up, the parking lot was like halfway flooded. There was big puddles everywhere. But one of the weirdest things that happened on this trip, I move inside into the Walmart. I'm going to get some, I don't even know, food, fingernail clippers, something. And I see a guy in an Arkansas Razorback shirt in a town population of maybe 4,000 people. And so in Arkansas, the main thing you say to people is like, woo pig or go Hawks. So I go to him like, oh, woo pig, love your shirt. I mean, he would have thought that I was some crazy man who's never met in his life. It was definitely like a thrift store guy. Yeah, something. He had no idea what I was even talking about. So very weird interaction there. And then I guess we left Walmart and we started up towards Washington.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess Washington, we'll talk about that on the next episode. And then we move into Colorado, Salt Lake City, Utah, all that fun jazz, which was crazy. But yeah, so that was episode 2 of the Man Chronicles. I'm Josh. I'm not Ben. That's Ben.
I'm Ben.
That's Ben. I'm Josh, and follow us on socials, ReBet app, ReBet Van on Instagram. And we'll talk to y'all soon.
Peace.